Am I the a-hole for laughing and telling my sister-in-law I have zero desire to raise her child? I 44F am married to my hubby, Jimmy 48M, for over 2 decades. My parents died suddenly in a car accident 10 years ago. I have a younger sister, Abigail 39F, with Down syndrome, and Jimmy and I are guardians. Abigail is my sweet angel on earth. When my parents passed, I was a working mother of 3 young kids, helping to build our family business with my husband. At first, Abigail lived with us full-time. Jimmy has always been at my side with her care and loves her to bits. After a few months, we realized that my sister needed more attention than we could give her. There was just not enough time in the day. We discussed what would be best for her and decided to put her into a private adult home for special needs people. It's very costly, over $10,000 a month, and comes from our own finances. The facility does all sorts of activities and field trips. She loves her home, her friends, and the special days the facility hosts. We are always stopping by to either visit, sign her out on holidays to spend with family, keep her overnight for special sleepovers with my kids, and take her on every vacation with us. We never go more than 24 hours without one of us making sure she's okay. Now onto the issue. I have a sister-in-law, Jenny 42F, who had her first child after years of trying. She's become the typical first-time mom who believes she invented motherhood and is openly opinionated about things she believes other parents fall short on. I mostly ignore her, and so does Jimmy. We hosted a barbecue at my house for Labor Day with my father-in-law, mother-in-law, Jenny, her husband, baby, and my kids. Abigail had a planned trip to the zoo and asked if she could go. Of course, we said okay. While we were eating, Jenny turned to me and asked me where Abigail was. Her tone was more accusatory than questioning. I simply didn't want to get into it with Jenny, so I said Abigail wanted to stay at the home. Jenny then turned to her hubby and said,
"See, this is why it won't ever happen."
My mother-in-law asked Jenny what she was talking about. Jenny, all snarky, said to the whole table,
"We did our wills last week and knew these two wouldn't be suitable as guardians of our baby if something happened to us. They tossed her sister into a home rather than be real family to her. I won't let that happen to my child."
I didn't let it show, but I was extremely hurt she could say this. Instead of yelling, I laughed at her and said, "Well, that's great news since I have zero desire to raise your kid." More was said, but that's the gist of it. Jenny left with her family, calling me nasty swear words as she walked out. I might have said a few swear words myself right back at her. It's been over a month now and Jimmy is still getting nasty texts from Jenny demanding I apologize. My mother-in-law knows she overstepped with her comment but is asking me to be the bigger person and say sorry to keep the peace. I refuse. Am I the a-hole?
Here are the top comments, plus OP's reply. Not the a-hole, and Jenny is a major a-hole. If she had actual concerns, she should have talked to you or her brother. And if she had half a brain, she would see that sometimes living in a group home is better than with family who don't have the time or resources to properly care for or enrich the life of a person with special needs. Sounds like you are still involved in Abigail's life, and she's happy. That is what's important. Also, if sister-in-law does feel this way, she doesn't need to make it known and do so in such a hurtful and insulting way.
I'm completely non-special needs, and the idea of living in a group home like OP described sounds bloody fantastic. People who cook and clean for you, a load of friends, and trips to the zoo.
So as the daughter-in-law, you need to be the bigger person? Why is that? My own mother would have told me off if I acted like your sister-in-law did. But your sister-in-law has a strong personality, so your mother-in-law wants to take the easy way out. Is it okay she hurt your feelings, but not that you hurt her daughters? By the way, it warms my heart Abigail loves her group home, not the a-hole.
This place is amazing. I couldn't say everything because of limits, but it's a big building that houses everyone in their own dorm room. They host cooking classes, gym classes, art class, take them swimming to the local YMCA, host talent shows, day trips, movie nights. There isn't a day that goes by Abigail doesn't have something to look forward to. At first, it was an adjustment. I felt a lot of guilt that first year, but now she's thriving and getting much more enrichment than simply staying in my house by herself without much interaction during the day.